Hey YouTube! How's it going, guys? Good Sunday to all of you. Today is Sunday, February 18th, 2018. I hope you've all been doing great. I hope you had a wonderful week. There is quite a bit to go over. If you had a chance to watch that string of videos that I posted, I made videos for a cancer warrior brother named Finn. It was his birthday. My buddy Gavin had a birthday on the same day. He's an actor friend of mine. And I had a shout out for Caleb and, wow, I forgot. Caleb and Ryan from Texas. Joining me is my dad off camera. Hello, Dad.
Hey.
I muted his program. He was watching Counting Cars. Maybe I can... There we go. But anyway, guys, I figured I would do the Sunday video update and talk about the week in review. That's going to drive me nuts, trying to talk over this. So yeah, if you did see the video, I made a little spoof. This Tuesday, I will be at Hurley for an event called Vote for Miracles. I think it's a celebration where we just kind of meet in the auditorium and we talk about the event that happened before that, where we voted for the hospitals, and Hurley took first place, taking home the $50,000, and they're using the money to renovate the 11th floor. And the 11th floor is for physical and sexual abuse victims. They are renovating the 11th floor. They're going to put in new beds, new sheets, new furniture, the whole 9 yards. When I was at Radiothon last week, I was taken on a tour of the 11th floor before they even got started on it. They're still working on it. So it was an honor to be able to just to look around and check things out. But I will be at Hurley this Tuesday, 10 o'clock in the morning. If you happen to be in the area and you have to be at Hurley, and if you recognize who I am, stop in and say, hey. You know, I'm always open for hugs and handshakes. So stop on in. There's a couple things that I wanted to get to this week. Now, I understand that we've again fallen at the behest of gun violence here in America. Now, when I had social media, and I want to put this out there before I get started on anything else, when I had Facebook and Twitter, the one thing I never really talked about was gun control. Because I feel, in my opinion, it's not a gun problem, it's a people problem. And the reason I never talked about this on social media is because the argument always gets lagged or latched onto this idea that, well, Jared is making a blanket statement about all people who own guns or all people who have mental health issues. That's not what I'm doing, and that's what I would never do. In fact, what I'm saying is that there are those who own guns and they don't have mental health issues, and there are those people who have mental health issues who have no desire or need to want to hurt or kill anybody. So, I don't know how we can fix the problem here in America. I can't speak for other countries, but I can certainly speak for mine. I don't know how we can fix a world where we can end violence with guns in particular. I just don't know how we can do it. I don't have an answer. People ask me for my input, my 2 cents, and it's like, well, I'd rather not talk about it because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm in favor of infringing on the Second Amendment rights to own and bear arms. That's not what I want to do either. It's just a very complicated subject. Because we certainly don't want to throw the baby out with bathwater and say, well, just take everybody's guns away. Whether they're good citizens or bad citizens, just take their guns away. Well, we can't do that either because, again, that would be an infringement of the Second Amendment constitutional right here in the United States. So, right, the right to bear arms. So we don't want to violate those rights. But there is a problem where we also have a flawed, rather substantially shitty healthcare system in America. And a lot of it is not so much the fact that the people who have the mental health issues refuse to seek treatment because of the stigma attached, but we also have this issue where when people apply to get the health care or to be seen by a medical professional, they're being denied for one reason or the other.
And penalized.
And they're being penalized for not having the insurance or having some kind of health care. The healthcare, if you want to call it the healthcare system, I don't know.
They make too much money to have health insurance.
Yeah.
When you don't hardly, and they're just living.
Yeah.
Day by day.
Yeah. Because like I was telling Dad the other day, we have to be very sure and very careful that we're not lumping all people with mental health issues into the same category, that we're not painting with a broad brush that all people with mental health issues are bad people, because they're not. I have friends and family members who have mental health issues. They're not bad people. They wouldn't want to hurt anybody else.
Some of them are the most loving people that you ever met.
Yeah.
Loving, caring people you've ever met.
And I'll add that my dad has a gun in the gun cabinet, which is
Locked up.
right around here behind the lamp. You can't see the gun cabinet, but it is in a locked and secured location. When we have the granddaughter over, she's just little. You've seen her in my videos. She don't play around by the gun cabinet. She knows better.
She knows right.
And Papa has had that talk with Mackenzie. You don't play around by Papa's gun cabinet. But my 2 cents is we cannot. They had a talk it was a talk show on one of the major networks. They were talking about psych evaluations. And here's my take on psych evaluations. They may work, they may not work. Because they may work if you have had a paper trail of health issues in the past, if you have a history of being in and out of mental wards, psychiatric facilities, clinics, things like that, where, like if you've been in and out of these places and your mental instability is such that you want to hurt people or hurt yourself, then I can see preventing those people from having a gun. But another problem that we might run into is you have people who, in fact, do have mental health problems, but they live a life of secrecy and seclusion where nobody knows about the mental health issue. They've never been seen by a medical professional. They don't get prescribed any medication. They don't, they're not in mental hospitals or state-run facilities that specialize in the mental care and treatment of patients. They don't have, they've never had that history. They don't have a paper trail. And say they go and they go along with the psych evaluation to get the gun. And the examiner doesn't spot it because there's no signs of it. The person being examined doesn't exhibit those characteristics of mental health in which they want to hurt people or harm themselves. So they pass the psych evaluation, then they go out and get the gun. Then what? It's too late. If that person has frivolous intentions of hurting other people or killing, then it's too late. That's why I say we have to be very careful on how we categorize mental health patients in this country. It is a very tricky trifecta between guns and your right to possess them versus mental health, the crises in America, plus the health care.
Just like our military.
But that's my take on that.
Our military, Jared, where they get home from the service or what, and the government screws them around, and they don't get their paychecks because the government wants to have a shutdown, and our people that's fighting don't have the, sources.
Yeah.
And they do get out, and then they start going crazy because the government screwed them over. They ain't get no money. That's why a lot of them turn and get guns and do the things that they do to people.
Well, this recent tragedy, though, Dad, of course, it was at a school in Florida. It was a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And he's looking at some serious charges, by the way. But the point I'm trying to make is that, say, for example, you have a person like this, and they have never been seen by a doctor, a medical professional, a psychiatrist, or whatever, and they don't exhibit that kind of behavior, but they want a gun.
Yeah, but
and they pass the psych evaluation. The examiner doesn't spot it. So, in essence, they sneak under the radar when they pass the psych evaluation so they can get the gun, and then they go and act on their impulses.
This is my theory again. If you don't have insurance, you can't be seen because of the government, their insurance. If you don't have insurance, they're not going to even take you in.
Right.
You have to have some kind of insurance to do it, but they're not giving you insurance to go get help.
It never ceases to amaze me that in a democracy where children come first, children are getting shafted the most.
Yeah.
And kind of extrapolating on what Dad said here, it's the healthcare system is just totally flawed. It's shit. Because by law, you got to have insurance, and if you don't have insurance, they're going to fine you. Well, if you can't afford insurance, how the hell are you going to afford a fine?
Why are they going to do? Well, then if that's the case, then how come there's so many homeless people out there? What are they going to do? Go up to every person and find them if they're homeless? Well, how are they going to pay it? They'll be in jail.
It's just like the gun issue.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with people who own guns? Are they going to go to each and every person's house who owns a gun? Mind you, these are people who are law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. They don't want to hurt or kill anybody, but they have guns to protect their family, their property, their homes.
They go hunting and everything?
And they enjoy wildlife hunting.
Hunting and stuff.
It's like, for instance, if we have an issue in this country where people, if, like, say, for example, someone beats someone to death with a baseball bat, and let's say, for argument's sake, that baseball bats are a prevalent issue in America like guns are. Do we criminalize the ball bat, or do we criminalize the person who wielded the bat and had committed the crime? I am leaning more towards the latter on that one. We criminalize the people, not the object. That's the issue that we face in America. Is it's not a gun problem, it's a people problem. And I'm not here to lump mental health patients into the same category. That's not what I'm trying to do. But anybody who really knows what I'm trying to say, they understand me, they will get it. I'm not saying anything bad about mental health patients. I'm not saying anything bad about gun owners. But it is it's a problem that we have in America. And something needs to be done. Obviously, I don't know what that is. I don't know how we go about finding a solution to this problem. But, I just want to treat people, thank you. I would rather treat people fairly under the law, under the Constitution of the United States. People should be treated fairly and equally under the law. And that's not just with gun ownership, that's healthcare as well, which leads me to the next subject I wanted to talk about. And I was watching this on Dad's Facebook the other day because Dad was sitting at the computer and he was watching this video of a mother who is concerned for her child, as any parent should be. Her son has DIPG, and she did a Facebook Live video yesterday, and her son needed an MRI.
Made me want to cry.
Yeah, I just thinking about that makes me upset. Her son needed an MRI. And I'm going to mention the name of the insurance company.
So we can help her.
Cigna, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves, said that this MRI for the 6-year-old child was not a necessary necessity, and I may be paraphrasing here, but somewhere within that terminology, Cigna said that the MRI was not,
Necessary.
it wasn't a necessity. Well, it's like this, Cigna. Anybody who's watching from Cigna, I think you should have your heads examined, because we're talking about a 6-year-old child who needs the MRI. Do you have any idea what DIPG is? It is brain cancer, an operable tumor of the brainstem.
Do you ever have an idea what that parent's going through?
Deanie himself, the child's name is Deanie.
Yeah.
He explained what DIPG is in a video, and I watched it, and I damn near lost it, because a 6-year-old child, I mean, how can you say that it's not a necessity? It's not necessary for a 6-year-old. And furthermore, the parent, the mother, got a paper from Cigna saying that if you want to have this done, it's going to cost you out of pocket $1,000.
$1,000.
I am
$1,000 out of her ass.
I'm absolutely disgusted. I'm appalled. It is one more error in the American healthcare system. Again, children are getting the shaft, and yet we live in a democracy. Oh, children come first. Bullshit. It's a money issue. It's money over people.
Greenbacks.
Yeah, it's money over people. And it seems we're kind of on the same subject as gun control in this country. Do you know what childhood cancer is? It is
Come here.
the masked murderer who's holding children at gunpoint.
Want in, Scruffy?
It is the mass murderer holding children hostage.
You want in? Come back in.
And childhood cancer, at any point, can pull that trigger
Come here, buddy. Come here. Go, go, go.
at any time.
Go see Berkeley. Go see Berkeley.
Right?
Go see Berkeley.
Right?
What's that? That's how I had what dog is.
Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Childhood cancer is the mass murderer
Yep.
who holds children at gunpoint.
Yep.
And childhood cancer, the finger is on that trigger. It could go off at any time. So, Cigna, shame on you. You should have your heads examined.
If it was one of their children, though, they'd get it.
Yeah. Yeah, they get it.
One of their children, they would get it because they work for insurance companies.
But that's another thing that I wanted to get out there. Deanie, if you're watching, I love you, and Mom, I'm sorry that they're doing this to you. It is just, it's horrific to me. It makes me so sad. I have seen the debilitating effects of DIPG with children, and it absolutely breaks my heart to see it. Everything about the warrior changes, not just in physical features, but they're unable to do the things that they used to do. And it breaks my heart knowing that this is going on. I'm sad today because of that incident with the insurance company And I'm sad that children have to go through this. It's just unfathomable to me. I don't get it. There's more that should be done for these kids, and they're getting the shaft. Big time getting the shaft. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. But as for us, I mean, we've been doing okay. It's been an okay week for me. It's been. And speaking of Mackenzie, my niece that comes over here, she's I think 3 years old, 3 or 4. Her grandpa passed away last week, and so my condolences go out to my little niece and her grandpa's family, the other family members. It's too bad. He was 79, I think. 78 or 79. I feel terrible, you know, for her because she's so little, and trying to explain that, you know, Grandpa's not coming back. You know, it's one of those difficult things that you have to try to explain, and they may not understand it, you know, at such a young age. But she says Grandpa went to heaven, and you know, he's not in pain anymore. Okay, you're right, you know. So Mackenzie, Uncle Jared loves you, and I'm sorry to hear about Grandpa. I love you, baby, and I'll see you soon, maybe. So anyway, we just had Valentine's Day. That was something else I kind of wanted to talk about with you guys a little bit. I've been here for almost 25 minutes. It's about 1:45 noon. So Valentine's Day was something I wanted to talk about. I'm single. I don't have a wife or a girlfriend. I don't have children. So my thoughts on Valentine's Day is, even if I was with a woman, I think Valentine's Day is a waste. And here's why. Because, okay, I'm a person who is all about love and understanding and compassion and the rest. However, when you're with your partner, and if you've been with your partner for so many years, what is it about that one day that is so special out of the remaining 364 days of the year? And if you consider anniversaries, so make that 2 special days. So then what's so special about Valentine's Day or an anniversary? What's so special more about those days than the remaining 363 or 364 days? You know, it's a question that I would like an answer to. So there's this girl that I've been talking to for the past, I'd say, a couple of years or so. She's a wilderness survivor like I am, and we've really, really been wanting to meet each other. I went to Wisconsin to her house, and she was at work, and I was upset because I had driven all that way, and it's like I want to see my girl, you know, and she's gone, but she was at work, and that's understood. And we still talk through text message, and we keep in touch periodically. She's like 3 years older than I am, and we have feelings for each other. We've only spoken to each other through text message, but we do have feelings for each other, and I'm hoping that things work out. Hopefully, when I go to Wisconsin the next time, I'll get to see her. But I'm not upset. I mean, she had to work, but she also knew I was coming.
So if you're watching me,
yeah, so Ruth, if you're watching me, sweetheart, I love you, and I can't wait to hang out with you. I can't wait to see you. So that's my girl. All you other guys, keep your paws and your eyes off. She's mine. Which reminds me, I should text her.
Yeah,
And
you should. Say hi to her.
You know, because we really like each other. We don't speak every day, because she works and she's been having some family issues concerning health, and I don't want to intrude on the time that, between work and family life. I don't want to nudge in and interrupt anything. So, but Ruth, if you're watching, I love you, sweetie. We certainly need to talk, and I really, really want to actually meet you. Because we're both Wilms warriors. We both have a lot in common. We both love and care about kids, the other warriors. And I think Ruth is the woman that I have been looking for. She's a woman who understands it, and I understand her. So hopefully she's watching. I'm not sure if she watches my YouTube channel. But as of today, she will be watching, because I will let her know. I mentioned your name, Ruth. But yeah, we have feelings for each other. I hope things work out.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a long-term relationship ever. Probably the longest relationship I've ever been in has been probably, I'd say, about a week.
That wasn't your fault. They wanted more.
I don't know. People ask me, well, why can't you get a girlfriend and keep a girlfriend? You're such a nice guy. You're so sweet. You're so generous. Well, I appreciate the compliments, but
all the other women.
If I had, well, it's like this. If it's not so much, it may or may not be the women. I don't want to point fingers, but if I knew how to solve that issue, if I knew how to fix that problem, don't you think by now I would have already done that? If I knew the answer to the question, or if I knew the solution to the problem, that problem would have been fixed. It could very well be because I still live at home with my dad. Anything's possible. I'm not going to...
But you're taking care of me, too.
But I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm not going to, I'm not going to put chips where they don't fall.
But you're taking care of me, too, son.
Yeah, I mean, we go in on half of the expenses here at the house.
Physically, too, because of
yeah.
Because of my...
You have health issues, and I help Dad around the house. We go on half of some of the expenses at the house, the household, the taxes, the electric bill, and the propane. We share in those expenses, and then we have our other our own personal bills, our other expenses that we pay in full. So yeah, I mean, and I think. Well, why do you still live at home with Dad other than paying the bills and taking care of him being sick or having ailing health? To be honest with you guys, I think because if I were to move into an apartment somewhere, it would really just be me. I would be all alone every day. I wouldn't have people to talk to. I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. I would be alone every single day of my life. And that scares me. I don't want to be alone. So that may be part of the reason that I still live with my dad.
And Dad's been with you ever since you were born.
I mean, Dad's been with me through all of it.
Been here since you were born.
When I had cancer, Dad was there. When Mom and Dad divorced, of course, I was with my dad. Well, I was kind of going back and forth between you and Mom.
Then you looked at Dad.
And then when I was 16, I think it was, I told my mother, I don't want to live with you. I want to live with Dad. Dad raised me. Yeah, Dad raised me. I mean, I've been able to do more things in my life living with my dad and Mom. It's no offense, but Dad has given me the freedom to live. And he's not trying to coddle me. And I understand that's a mom's intuition. They want to protect and coddle their children. Well, I'm sorry, Mom. I love you, but, you know, there were things that I wanted to do that you just wouldn't let me do. And it's ancient history. It's water under the bridge. I love my parents, both of my parents unconditionally. But I chose to live with my dad because my dad will allow me to explore life. I got my first car.
I let you grow up.
I got my first car when I was, 23, 24?
23.
I got my driver's license when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. What did I tell you when you flunked them?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I took the written test and the road test, I failed them both the first time. And Dad says,
No.
"You're not going to give up. You're
Get
going
back in there."
you're going to get in there and do it again." And I did, and I passed. And for those of you who are, you know, like you young teenage kids who are still, or you're going for your driver's license, I'm going to tell you something. If you fail the written test, they're going to scramble the questions.
Yeah.
When they give it to you again, they're not going to be in the same order as you received them the first time because
Trick question.
they want to throw you off. They're going to scramble the questions and they're going to rephrase the questions.
Yeah.
So
Look at them real good.
be prepared and use common sense because they did that with me. And when I took it the second time, it's like, oh, no, you don't. I know what you're saying. I understand the question, and I did pretty good. So, yeah, teeny boppers, when you're going to get your driver's license, when you're taking the written test, just be prepared. They're going to try to trick you, but it's good that they do that because when you're going, you know, you're sharing the road with hundreds, thousands of other people. Safety and know-how is key, and you always have to know what you're doing when you get behind the wheel of an automobile. You just have to know what you're doing. And, you know, matter of fact, the day I got my driver's license, when I took my road test, I took it on Owasso at Humphreys. The day I got my driver's license, I went to Flint with my Saturn, with my little four-door car. And I told my dad, I said, you know what? I got my driver's license. I'm out of here. So I went to Flint for the first time by myself.
What did I tell you? Be careful.
And Dad says, just be careful. And he tells me to be careful. I go to Lansing. I go to Flint. I've been to Grand Rapids. I've been to Detroit, downtown Detroit. I've been across the Mackinac Bridge. Been to Wisconsin, of course. I've been all over. I go to Saginaw. I go to Bay City, Midland, whatever.
Oh, did you ever drove in Saginaw? Yeah. Watch out.
Well, Flint too, you know.
Yeah.
But Flint was the first place I went, and I go to Lansing a lot. But it was fun. I remember the first time I had driven to Lansing with my car. It was fun. It was fun because, and I'll never forget it, I was coming up, for those of you familiar with Lansing, I was coming up Larch Street, which is Business 96, like going back out towards St. John's. I stopped at the McDonald's at the corner of East. Well, Larch turns into East, and I think it's Lake Lansing. There's a McDonald's restaurant. I had a McChicken value meal, and the song that comes over the PA system is You Better You Bet by The Who. I'll never forget it. And now every time I hear that song, it takes me back. It's like, yeah, I heard that song the very first time I had ever driven to Lansing on a joyride. So, you make memories when you're on the road. You remember places you've been to. It's just a lot of fun. But you have to be careful. But yeah, I got way off track on that. Yeah, I kind of went off the rails on that subject. But I think that's why I live with my dad yet. That's why I just don't want to be alone.
Stop biting. Get up there. Get up
I don't want to be alone.
there. Shut up.
Scruff.
Be quiet.
Hey, Scruffy. Come here. He jumps right up here on my lap, don't ya? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Aw. See? Say hi to the people. Say hi to YouTube. Say hi, YouTube. Oh, you're such a good boy, aren't you? Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. I love you too. Stinker. I caught him on my kitchen table last week.
Oh, yeah.
And he found out you don't get on the kitchen table. You don't get on any tables now, do you? I love you too.
Well, now he runs into him with his head.
Yep. You don't get on the table no more, do you?
That's right. The other dog and hits his head on
That's
the
right.
table.
Because you were punished for that. Weren't you, huh? You can't be doing that kind of stuff anymore. That's right. Yeah. You are a lap dog. Buddy, that's my coffee. That's my coffee.
Guppy.
Go to Daddy. Ouch. Go to Daddy. But anywho, guys, there's really not a whole lot else to talk about. I made a couple of points. I've been here for over 35 minutes. And it's just now 12 o'clock right on the dot. This is a free fishing weekend here in Michigan, by the way. So get out and enjoy it if you can, because it's cold. Well, actually, no, it's pretty warm today, isn't it?
Yeah, we're looking right now. It's about 35, 40.
Well, it's not warm. Tomorrow and Tuesday we're supposed to be in the 50s, around 60, and on Tuesday they're talking chances of thunderstorms in February, and then Wednesday snow.
Yeah.
And cold.
And get back down and go back up again next week.
Yeah.
We only got another week left of this kind of weather.
Yeah. Welcome to Michigan.
Yep.
We are in deep shit with weather because it's very topsy turvy, or as most people would describe Michigan weather as bipolar. I would have to agree because Michigan weather, it has a mind of its own. And what are you barking about over there?
Quiet. I don't want to talk.
Scruff.
He's talking to me.
You talking to Dad? You're going to talk to me too? You're going to growl at me? Come on. Come on.
No, just look at it.
Well, no, come on, buddy.
I just got to look at it. There. Watch. Hey.
Zip. He puts the one ear up.
You better knock it.
I wish you guys could see that. Amy, she's doing good. She's hiding out in the bedroom. Miss Unsociable.
Watch her movies.
Oh, she's watching the TV show Webster. You guys remember back in the 80s, Webster, Manuel Lewis, one of my favorite shows. I can't interrupt someone who's enjoying Webster because I like Webster. And Different Strokes, Arnold. What's happening? Yeah.
What's happening? Fred
Berry. Yep. That's back in the 70s, I think. So you and Amy went to the Price is Right a house show in Mount Pleasant on Friday night.
Yep. At the casino,
Soaring Eagle. At Soaring Eagle, and Dad said it was a joke.
Yeah, it was. Unless you had $150 to pay for a ticket, you could have got on. Yeah,
which, it's just weird because, and I understand that on TV, that's the main Price is Right. It's taped in Los Angeles at the studios of CBS. But Dad was saying that they had Plinko up there in Mount Pleasant, and the highest you could win was $500.
Yep.
Now on television, the center slot is $10,000. So it's like, $500. I mean, come on, you people are giving away cars and trips and all this other stuff that costs way more than $500, and the most you can win on Plinko is $500. It should be the $10,000 slot, in my opinion.
But that's what it was.
But yeah, rules are rules, and how they designed it is how they designed it. But Dad and Amy, someone else had gotten their tickets for them, so it was free for them. But they, in any event, they had fun.
Now we're looking forward to that Charlie Pride concert.
Yes, Charlie Pride, the country singer Charlie Pride is coming to Soaring Eagle. I like Charlie Pride.
Probably get some tickets for that too.
Yep, Kiss an Angel Good Morning. That's a good song.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the casino in, oh, wow. I know it's been well over a year, at least a couple of years. Just never have the money to go. I'm always broke now. But hopefully that'll change. I have plans this year, and hopefully I get to save up some money and get to travel to these different places. There's people who want to meet me. I mean, there's people who want to send money just to make sure that I get to them, and it's like, no. You save your money. Which is a nice gesture, though. I mean, I don't get that every day. It's always nice to have people who they love you so much that they really want you to be there, even if they have to pay for the travel expenses for you to get there. And it's like, well, no, I mean, it's a nice gesture, and I do appreciate it, but
Save your money for your child.
they have kids, and I don't want to take away from their children, you know? I couldn't live with that being on my conscience, that, you know, you're taking from your kids just to make sure I get there. No, the money that you would have spent or sent me to get to you,
Buy your children something.
use that on the kids. Buy your kids what they need or what they want, or however you do it. Let me figure out how I'm going to get to you by myself.
What?
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to going to places like New York and Ohio and Colorado and Pennsylvania and Texas and Florida. I think Tennessee, Memphis. I've been invited to Memphis. I've been invited to Louisiana and I think Georgia. So there's like 8 different states that I've been invited to, including going back to Wisconsin to see my girl, because I really want to see my girl. So Ruth, if you're watching, baby, I love you, and I can't wait to see you. I just hope that you're going to be home. But anywho, there's really not much else to talk about this week. I pretty much covered everything. But as a reminder, this Tuesday, I will be at the Hurley Medical Center in Flint. I'm not sure if it's at the Children's Hospital. It's just the Hurley Medical Center. It's the auditorium. That's where they're going to have the day, make sure I get this right, the celebration for the Vote for Miracles, because Hurley had taken first place, and they brought home $50,000 to renovate the 11th floor and to use that for physical and sexual abuse victims, and they're going to have a day of celebration that Hurley won. So, looking forward to that, and thank you again, Linda Tracy Stevens, for the invitation. I will see you on Tuesday morning. The weather is supposed to be good, so I won't run into any problems of snow or slush. So, woohoo! I'll be there. So, I guess that's it, guys. I haven't been here real long. About 45 minutes, give or take. I guess I'll let you go. Short and sweet this week. And I thank you for watching this week's edition of the Sunday Video Update. I'm Jared Fuller. Much love. Mwah. Take care, guys. I'll see ya.